Mr. Bushwar, how do you feel about being a teacher?
I love being a teacher. I mean, that's one of the things. Like, I knew that that's what I wanted to do before I went to college, and it's just something that I've always. I mean, it's been everything I've wanted it to be. So even more, I mean, just how much I get involved and how much you learn from the students. You know, something that's, that's the kind of the unexpected part. But yeah, I love it. I love every bit of it.
How did you get into being specifically an art teacher?
Art teacher, actually, when I went to college, I thought for a little while, I kind of started looking into architecture, and I was in the art department while I was doing some education classes and things like that. And so when I started doing art, I just realized I loved it, and I took a class that, had me actually go to an elementary school and work with students, do an art lesson. I had to go teach at a school for a couple days just doing art. And so I always thought, I kind of ended up doing math or doing, business, something related in that, within schools. But when I started doing that, I was just fell in love with, art itself, realized I could do it, and then that's just kind of what happened, so.
How was your first experience with when you first got into art?
First got into art?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a little intimidating just because I didn't have the same background as a lot of the students that were in there. I hadn't done it throughout high school, so all I had done, I took art in high school. I took art 1, the class that you're in,
yeah.
And so it was only a 1 semester class then, and so when I started taking drawing classes at the college level. With architecture and things like that, doing those classes, it was everybody there had been, AP art students in high school or, been doing a lot with it, already kind of had a portfolio, they'd already had a lot of work. So it was intimidating at first, but I realized I was, kind of on par with them as far as ability went. So yeah. So, I mean, it didn't take me too long to get comfortable with it.
How do you feel about art, in general?
In general, I think it's one of those things that's extremely important. I don't think it gets all the credit that it deserves. I think a lot of people you can survive without it, but I think it's one of those things that if you look, art documents history. As much as, books do, and people have written, it interacts, it causes social change. You look at a lot of the things, one of the images from the Obama campaign was a painting done by an artist that, Shepard Fairey, and it was one of those, the Hope and Change posters that you saw. It was like a print, done kind of in, it was like a pop art style, and that's something that carried over. And so, you see this documentation of history. Innovation comes from art. A lot of, we were talking about Cubism, in there that, the idea Niels Bohr staring at a Cubist painting got him to start thinking about it more three-dimensionally. By seeing what artists had done. So, it brings on, innovation, social change. I think it's something that's extremely important and, needs to be fostered. And, we talk about creative thinking and thinking outside the box. And, we want, y'all's generation to be able to make these changes with new technology. It's I think art is extremely important for that, whether it's performing arts, music, or visual arts, what I teach. So.
How's it been being a teacher? Has it been hard? Has it been?
Yeah, it's
what you expected.
Yeah, I think most of it's what you expect. There's always going to be more, no matter what field you go into.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think there's a lot of what I expected, but there's been a lot more, a lot of good, and then there's always going to be some that you weren't quite expecting, and it's rough. I think I wasn't expecting so many people not to really. Trying to say this. It's the support you get. It's the people understanding the importance of art, kind of like what we just talked about.
Yeah.
Not everybody really gets it, and so you don't always have the support, even with your peers, other teachers. Not really saying I wasn't expecting kids to get pulled out all the time, or and I understand they need to get there's certain things you have to graduate, and I understand that completely. But I wasn't expecting those things. So it took me a little while to adjust to that. I kind of get it now. It's still, some days you're just I don't want to give, I need this kid today, but you have to, it's like a give and take. So you've got to be able to accept that. I think class sizes, just a lot of things that they don't really prepare you for, and it takes you a little while to adjust. I think, the way you're taught to teach, it's kind of expected that everything's going to be perfect in a classroom. So it takes you a little bit to adjust. And I remember my first year, I was doing middle school, and I taught Bowie 1 year, just a long time ago now. And I was kind of just thrown into it, and I didn't really know what to expect. And so it was a tough year, but I did 1 year there, and then I kind of get your feet wet, and then I had to change schools. And when I did that, it was kind of like I had this fresh start. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that I expected, but you get a lot more, and so it's an adjustment period. But once you adjust, it's still the same profession that you're prepared for and you wanted to do. So, so I'd say, I mean, there's been days where middle school was getting a little rough for me. It was just I needed a little bit of a change. I'm always somebody that kind of needed change for a long time, and I'd been there for 12 years and at one school, and this opened up here, and so that was a big, significant change with me and my family. Changing schools, changing times, the amount of involvement in high school is a lot more. But I'd say overall, then that move, although I was kind of nervous about it, has been like the best thing that I've ever done. So moving up here to MacArthur.
Well, thank you for your time here.
Yeah, no problem.